Hello everyone, welcome back to Angela's Craft Room. Today I'm going to be making a card using this lovely new Christmas stamp set, Christmas Magic, that was just brought out in the Christmas catalogue and is available in Australia from the 1st of September. So if you don't have a demonstrator and you're interested in buying any of the products I used today, please just email me or leave a message in the comments below and I'd be more than happy to help you. Okay, so we're going to be doing a lot of sponging and so let's get started. So I do have a disposable glove on because I like having a disposable glove on when I'm going to really be inking a lot, because I don't want ink on my card. Now to start with, I'm going to start with a piece of real red cardstock which measures 11 inches along and 5.5 inches wide, and we're going to score it. Sorry, it's 11 inches long by 4.25 wide and score at 5.5. So I'm just going to grab my bone folder and just burnish that edge nicely. Okay, then we're going to take a piece of Pear Pizzazz. Now I do have two pieces, one for inside and one for outside. The one from inside is a bit smaller, so the one for outside, that's just going to get adhered straight on there, which we will do straight away just with some snail. Okay, now I just like using my grid lines. Just open it up so it lies flat right on my grid lines there. And then I usually just close the card and wipe it over the back. That way I find I don't get ink on my card as well. So that's our first layer. Also, I failed to mention, this is the card that we're going to make today. So it's using the train, and we're going to be sponging that oval in the middle. Okay, so in the middle, what I did was I just used from that stamp set. This is just to go inside the card, so we'll get that out the way. I've just used the bell from inside and just open up the real red, just stamping that on there. And I'm just going to put a bell in each corner. Still leaves you plenty of room to write in the middle there for your Christmas card. So we'll get that rid of the real red. So then we'll just adhere that to the center of your card. Opening up again, lining it up with your grid paper without moving it. That way I just find the cards all finished. When you've finished decorating the front, it's all ready to go. So that's the inside, so we'll just set that aside for now. Then what you need then, you need to cut 2 pieces of Whisper White. Now they measure 5 inches by 3 3/4. Yeah, 5 inches by 3 3/4. So one of these, what I want you to do is cut out, using your layering ovals, you're going to cut out an oval. So I have mine here that you can see I've already used, and I've just cut out the oval, and that becomes my template. So then what I do is, because they're exactly the same size, I then just get some washi tape, and I just find this is the best way. I know some ladies have used repositionable glue, but I find this is the best way to stop my template from moving. And you can use this template over and over again. So I have my 3 sponges. Now I'm going to start off with Soft Sky. So we're just going to ink up. Now starting off and just going round the edges, just very lightly, so that when you've finished, you're going to have a really lovely smooth finish with your sponging. Now I do go a bit faster with my sponging when I'm doing a tutorial because of the time frame. But you can see that I'm starting off from the white that I'm sponging onto, and then when there's not much left, I'm just going into the circle, into the middle of the circle where it's very white. Now I just like to go round the edge first to get a bit of coverage. And Soft Sky is not a very dark colour, so normally would take me quite a while to get any coverage on there, but just for this video, because I'm aware of the length of it, I just try and speed it up a little bit for you. But a lot of people ask me how I do my sponging, so this is a good way for you to see. So we're bringing some colour, more colour and more colour, and it's just a matter of just keep sponging until you're happy with it. Now you just got to use a very soft touch when you're sponging, and I'm going to use some Marina Mist after I've done this, so that will cover a little bit of the Soft Sky and make it a lot darker. And if you're ever wanting any tutorials done on anything at all, just put it in the comments below, and I'm more than happy to try and accommodate you. And I'd just like to thank everyone that has subscribed to my channel. I do appreciate it because it does take a lot of time to do these tutorials. So I'm going to be leaving a little bit of white in the middle. Because we're going to be putting, I like to put a little bit of Wisteria Wonder into my skies. Now I'm just going to make this a bit darker up here. Almost probably time for me to have a new template. You can use it, this is just cardstock, so you can use a new template each time if you prefer. But I tend to use my templates 2 or 3 times. Just depends how much ink's on there, because after a little while you'll get little pieces that I'm getting today coming onto my sponged area, which isn't real good. But as I say, with sponging I find it really relaxing, and you just got to just persevere with it and just don't try and rush it. Okay, so that'll do for the soft sky, I think. Then we'll move on to Marina Mist. So I use a different. Now this is my this is my sky up here. So I'm just going to go, because this is a darker colour. And this is one thing I can't rush, because otherwise I'm going to end up with a blob. But we are going to be stamping over the top of the sponge area, and we're going to be putting that train on there. So you'll see, like, if we do get a little bit of blobby dark area, it's not going to really matter. Now you can see that Marina Mist coming in. Just leave that sky area, and we'll just bring some Marina Mist just round the edges now. And you can use whatever colours you want. Like if you've got a colour coach, it really helps you know which colours go with which, or what's recommended. It's very helpful. So we'll just go into the middle there. And every one of these is going to look different. And you can see, having that washi tape there, it's not moving. Now lastly, I'm just going to put a little bit of Wisteria Wonder. I'm hardly touching that. I just like, in my sky scenes, I like to put a bit of Wisteria Wonder. So I'm mainly just doing it in the middle, and you most probably will hardly be able to see it. I know in my original card I didn't do it quite dark enough, but I was quite happy with how that turned out. And as I say, we're going to stamp the train over the top, but I'm quite happy that sponging's looking nice and smooth. And as I say, just very lightly, and don't be in a hurry with it. So I think that will do for sponging. Just get rid of my sponges. So with that, first of all, I used Soft Sky, then I used Marina Mist, and then I used a little bit of Wisteria Wonder, just in case you're taking notes there. So now we're going to take the tree image from the stamp set. It's this one, tree image. Sorry if I'm out of focus, you can't see what I'm doing. Be helpful if you could see. So I'm just popping that on there. Now I'm just going to do this in Wisteria Wonder. Now what I did was, with my original card, I just stamped off. Now you notice I haven't taken the mask off yet, and some of the tree will be down here. So this is more of a background. So I'm just tap in my stamp set, stamping off, and just wherever you want to put your trees. So it's just giving a lovely background effect. Like that. Hopefully. It's just a little bit of cardstock there. So then we'll get rid of the Wisteria Wonder. Just clean off my stamp. Like to clean it off straight away in my stamping scrub, and I'm going to remove that because the train's going on there. Now I'm just going to remove the washi tape, and I think this mask is just about had its day. I have used it a few times. Just try not to get any ink on this white piece when you're taking it off. That's why I like to wear a glove. So there's a little speckle there, but I'm really not worried about that. So you can see so far it's just a really nice sponged image. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the big train and we're going to pop it on the acrylic block, and I'm taking my basic black. Now because this is such a detailed stamp, I like to take my ink pad to the actual stamp instead of stamping it on the ink pad. I prefer to do this, so I ensure myself that I'm going to get every little detail of that stamp, because it's just such a detailed stamp. It's really lovely. Just trying to get that smoke coming out of the train there. So you can see that's really inked up. So what we're going to do now is just stamp our train. Just have that on level. Turn it over. So we're just going to stamp it up there. Just press down firmly, so without rocking, don't rock your stamp, and straight up. And isn't that a beautiful stamp? It's just really, I just love it. I'll just clean that off on the stamping scrub straight away. And just be careful because I have inked that up quite a lot. Now we're just going to ink up the sentiment. And I'm just going to pop that there. There we go. Sending a little Christmas magic your way. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is, just with my Uniball white gel pen, I'm just going to add a little bit of highlight on the smoke, because the train's going to be covered. You'll see in a minute. So let that dry. And just add just a few little highlights down here. The smoke's coming out here as well. And just pop a bit more up there. Just to highlight the smoke. Okay, so that's a Uniball white gel pen from Stampin' Up, and it's just going to highlight that. Now if you wanted to, you could just apply that to your card like that and have a really nice Christmas card. But we're going to step it up. So on another piece of Whisper white paper, I would want you to stamp your train again and cut it out. Now when you're cutting out, I'll just grab this other piece. Don't be really, you know, pedantic about cutting around everything, because when this goes on top of that, you're going to see all these really dark marks and all the toys and the smoke. You'll notice that I didn't cut out the smoke, and that's why we use the white gel pen to highlight the smoke. Okay, so then what I do is I just grab a little bit of my blender pen to start with, and I'll just close up that black ink pad, and this will just show you like how I use my gel, my blender pen from Stampin' Up. Now I don't use one for every single colour, I just use the one. So I think you can see. So it's best that your stamp pad's quite juicy, and I'm just hardly touching that, I'm just tipping it so you can see that the ink's on there, like that. So I'm just, and the thing with, because this isn't watercolour paper with the blender pen, this is just normal cardstock, so you don't want to overwork the area. Okay, so all we're doing is just hardly touching it, and because it's such a detailed stamp, and the artist that created this stamp has done all the hard work for us, we don't really have to put too much colour on it. So just doing that Christmas decoration at the front of the stamp first. So I'm just doing this quite quickly for you. So that's on there. And then I'm just going to do a little bit on the little garland on the back here. And it is a Christmas train, so it can be any colour you want it to be. And I will be adding some Winker Stella on it, so you don't have to be too precise, because that's going to add a nice lot of glitter to our train. And you can see that I'm hardly using any ink at all. The key to using the blender pen is not to overwork it. Now I'll just get some Perfect Plum. And when you're using you just wipe the blender pen on your grid paper so you know you haven't got any more of that other colour now. You can see that I've got a bit of Perfect Plum on there. So I'm just going to highlight these presents in the back, and we'll just go around that little bear because we don't want to make him purple. So I'm really not thinking about what colours I'm putting anywhere, because, as I say, being a Christmas train can be any colour. And it is craft, it's what you like to have. I'm just trying to do it as quickly as I can for you. So then we'll just get some real red. Make sure there's no ink on there. Now I'm just doing the little bows, and you're hardly having to touch them. They are very tiny, but if you just use the tip of your pen, it's still got enough ink on there. Just use the very tip. Just put a bit of red around there. And it's got a nice big bow in the front. And you will see that the artist has done all the dark shading and everything for you. This is a really lovely Christmas stamp set. It's really got those old-fashioned stamp sets that I love to use. I'll just add a little bit of pink. Need a little bit more ink. And in my previous card, on the real big circles on this garland at the front, I've actually added some rhinestones. So that's another thing that you can do if you'd like. But just hardly touching it. It's getting a bit of colour on there now. Now I just need a little bit more pear pizzazz. Just notice there's another little garland there that I missed at the beginning. So you should be able to see that I'm hardly touching this because I am a Winker Stella fan when it comes to Christmas cards, I can tell you. So this will all change once I add the Winker Stella. So that's about looking, well, pretty good. Might just put a little bit of red just at the bottom here. And you can see that I'm hardly touching it. I do keep telling you that because some ladies say they have trouble with the blender pen, and the main problem is that they overwork the area when there's no need to. So we'll just leave it for there for now, just for the demonstration. So I just rub that off, and then that's finished with. Then we'll just close up our ink pads. perfect plum, got your real red and your pear pizzazz, but you can use whatever colours you want. Now I'm just going to grab my Winker Stella, the clear one. Now on this, just make sure it's coming through. Just zoom in a bit for you. So just where it's, just make sure it is coming through. Just squeeze the barrel a bit. So I'd add a fair bit onto the smoke because you're going to accentuate it then. And then these black spots, sorry, these black spots, just quickly go over them. So once you start adding it onto the colour, you can actually see, it doesn't look like you're putting on much, but you can actually see the colour changing and glistening. So you don't have to be too fussy with it. Just making sure, because you really need to add quite a bit onto the smoke at the bottom of the train here. Because you haven't got any colour on there at all, you've only got your white Uniball pen that we highlighted it at the beginning. So you do need to be putting quite a bit on. And these Winker Stella glitter pens, this one I've had for several months. It's one of those things that just lasts for quite a long time. Now I haven't coloured the bear, I'm just going to glisten him up a little bit. So that will do there. My cap on my blender pen. Now, just turn this over so we've got a bit cleaner piece of that you can see there. So then I just take my dimensionals, and it's up to you how many dimensionals you want to put on this. I like to put quite a few because it's quite a large area. Normally, you know, you can get away with putting a couple on. And we'll just put one in the middle. Now, I want one underneath the top of the train, and this I've just cut one in half because otherwise you would see it from the other side. Okay, so I'm just going to put him on there, and I'm just going to pull all them off. I just find with the tweezers they come off so much easier. So just pulling all them off. Sometimes it's hard to remember which ones you've pulled off and which ones you haven't. And you've got a couple more. Okay, so then we'll just get that out the way. way. Then I'm just going to, I think you can just see there, I'm just going to cover, I'm just lining up the front of the train mainly, and then just popping it down. So you can see that we've got the smoke coming up here, and because we used the white Uniball pen, you don't need to cut out the smoke, and the black down here, it's still showing from underneath the train. So you don't have to get really pedantic about really trying to cut out every little piece, and you can always add a bit more colour to it if you want to. So just go out a bit. So then we're just going to my snail, and I just hope my snail's going to last just for this tutorial. Usually what happens to me, it runs out. Might just get away with it. So then we bring in this piece again, just lining it up with your grid paper lines, and then just eyeballing it and centering it to where you want it. Like that. And I like, as I told you, I like to turn it over and press it down like this, so I'm not transferring all this ink that's on my glove. That's why I like wearing a glove when I'm sponging, because then I'm not transferring, hopefully I'm not. And then you have your lovely card, lovely Christmas card. And the only other thing I did was I just added some enamel dots at the top here. That's from the Brights collection. And I added some rhinestones on the front of my train. But you don't have to do that. I've used a few more colours with that. But it gives you the ideal, you know, and it just gives the train a bit of 3D look when you do it like that. So I hope that'll get you started on your Christmas cards this year, and I'd just like to thank you for spending some of your time today with me, and until next time, have a crafty day.